Well, all to play for as we enter the final month of the WSL season, but one slip-up could be fatal in three sides' quest for the title. We've got it all covered for you right here on the Women's Super League show. Coming up, title chasers Liverpool, Arsenal and Bristol are all in action. Hope Powell's legacy as England boss recently came to an end. We hear from the former manager after 15 years in charge.
The FA statement clearly says that they wanted a fresh approach. I have to accept that and move on.
There are plenty of skills on show as Doncaster Belles took on the WSL team trial. And stand by for Continental's August Goal of the Month. Welcome to the show, and for the final time in Lincoln Ladies history to Sincil Bank as the Lady Imps prepare to face Bristol Academy. Before we hear from Lincoln though, first to the news that Hope Powell's reign as England manager has come to an end.
One European Championship final and 2 World Cup quarter-finals. After 15 respectable years, Hope Powell has been relieved of her duties as England manager.
The FA statement clearly says that they wanted a fresh approach. That's their prerogative. So I have to accept that and move on. There's so many positives certainly that have happened in the last 15 years, and I've been part of that, and I'm very, very proud of what I contributed to the game.
The decision came as a surprise to England's record goalscorer Kelly Smith.
A massive shock, if I'm honest. It never once in my mind thought that the FA would actually get rid of her, but only because of the pure good work that she's done from the moment she come into the setup over 15 years ago. From the moment she's stepped in, she's changed the whole face of the game for the better. All the youth setup has been done by her. That wasn't there when I first come into the squad. So now there's a pathway for the kids from under 15s right up until senior level.
I think the way women's football is going now, it's back in 1998, we weren't as good as we are now. I was able to produce players, if you like, in a different environment with no pressure. I think the expectation now is that England have to get out of the group.
Powell has seen it all, including London 2012 with Team GB. She leaves her assistant and under-23 manager Brent Hills as temporary replacement, with World Cup qualifiers ahead.
When you start coaching, it's everybody's dream to manage your country's team. I feel very proud and honoured to be given the opportunity to do that, although it's temporary for 2 games.
I think the FA are going to take their time on finding the right person for the job, so Brent's been involved. He knows the system, the setup, and he'll pick the right players to do a job.
Really what I've got to do is focus on supporting the players and demanding standards that ensure we have the best possible chance of getting 6 points.
Brent Hills will be leading the team out. It will be a new phase, a new time, and I just wish and hope that the England team manage to qualify for the World Cup, which I'm sure they will.
While one manager steps aside, another begins her journey, as Smith has become player coach at Arsenal.
I'm coming to the end of my career, and the last few years haven't worked with me with injuries. So it's probably been the next natural progression for me. I'm still obviously learning the ropes, and it's still very new and fresh to me, so it'll take me a while to get used to it fully. It's good to step away from that side of the playing a little bit and listen to Shelley and on different aspects of the game, and we'll just see how that goes at the minute. I'm learning.
We wish Kelly all the best for the future in her new role. Time for some action now in the first of our roundups from last week's WSL fixtures. Dan Roebuck reports.
Arsenal notched their 9th consecutive win with a 6-0 victory over Doncaster Belles. After goals from Gilly Flaherty, Jordan Nobbs and Danielle Carter, number 4 came from Ellen White, who claimed her 7th in all competitions with a clinical finish. White then turned provider, setting up Carter, who bagged her 2nd of the evening. It was 6-0 4 minutes later. Steph Horton's excellent free kick sealed another big win for the reigning champions. 3 days later, Doncaster fell foul of a 9-0 thrashing at the hands of Liverpool. Already a goal down, the home side weren't helped when Victoria Williams was sent off after just 6 minutes. Liverpool converted the resulting penalty for 2-0 and went on to grab 5 more goals that included a Tash Dowie hat-trick in the first half alone. The pick of the bunch coming from Farrah Williams. Having put 6 beyond Doncaster, Arsenal squeezed past Chelsea by just 1 goal. The decisive strike came when Danielle Carter notched her 7th of the season from close range. With 15 goals conceded in their 2 previous games, Donny Bells claimed a long-awaited victory against Lincoln. Sue Smith scored the game's only goal. But the Bells had keeper Nicola Davis to thank for a last-minute penalty save to make sure of the win.
So, after 2 heavy defeats, Doncaster secure their first win of the season. But what of Lincoln and the future for this club? It was announced in July that to successfully partake in 2014's WSL 1, there would have to be some big changes.
The 2013 WSL season has been a transitional one for Lincoln ladies. There's a new manager and a return to playing home games at Sincil Bank. But that pales into insignificance when compared with the changes for next season, when the club will move to Nottingham to play as Notts County ladies.
We had to look at the bid requirements from the FA, had to look at what was needed. One of the major points that was new to the bid document was the requirement to have a partner, whether that was university, college, football club. So obviously we have to look at what we've got in Lincoln already. Whilst we work with a lot of people within Lincoln, we don't have a partnership as such. We aren't associated with Lincoln City Football Club. We are Lincoln Ladies, we are independent, but we have a massive link with the chairman at Notts County.
A key figure in the proposal to restructure the club is local businessman Ray True, who owns the controlling interest in both Notts County and Lincoln Ladies.
Sat with Ray, went through all the positives about moving to Notts, and it made complete sense to do that. It wasn't just a case of let's upset everybody and move it out of Lincoln. It was how can we make this club a successful club? How can we move it forward? How can we make it sustainable?
I think the club are looking at the bigger picture, and unfortunately it costs us a lot of money to play here at Sincil Bank, and we're not unfortunately getting the numbers that we need through the doors to be able to sustain it. So to move to Notts County and try and build a base on the back of the men's club is what we need to do to move forward.
If we didn't move to Notts County, like I said, we wouldn't have met the bid criteria anyway, so we wouldn't have been in the Super League. We couldn't have worked in Lincoln because of the criteria required from the bid.
We train 2 nights a week at the moment in Lincoln. At Notts County we're going to be able to train 5 days a week. That's a big difference.
The move will make our club more professional, and that's what the target of the FA WSL is.
I won't be supporting them at all now. It's like going to all away games as far as I'm concerned. I know lots of people who have stopped supporting now for that very reason, because they've lost their team. It's
very upsetting for the local fans. I understand that completely. We're working with people within Lincoln actually to try and make that transition a little bit easier, make it a little bit more cost effective for them. Then hopefully they will continue to come and support the players.
Whether people want to travel to another county to support a team with another name, I don't know how people feel about that really. I think a lot of people have got a hard decision to make at the end of the season.
Well, I'm now joined by Lincoln manager Rick Passmore. Rick, what would you say to those fans who think the club is being uprooted for the wrong reason?
Come follow us, because as the game develops, the game's going to get even better, more challenging, competitive. You're going to see some fantastic football. So therefore, for the fans, digest the information and come and see us play at Notts County come next season, and I'm sure you'll feel very positive of the strides that we're making.
And looking ahead to today's game at Sincil Bank against Bristol Academy, who are chasing for the title, what are your thoughts ahead of this game?
Firstly, congratulate Mark and everybody in the background for the strategy of Bristol, because you look at them a few years ago, but how they've built their club off the pitch and on the pitch, it's a real beacon to everybody else of how they could be successful. So therefore we're looking at challenging Bristol, and therefore we're looking for 3 points.
Finally, there could be a fairy tale ending for Lincoln ladies. In your final game, you've got a Continental Cup final against Arsenal. How great would it be to go out on such a high?
I think to get to any cup final, but obviously with all the interest and the media interest of actually ourselves evolving from Lincoln to Notts County, it'll be a great coup for the club to not only have obviously get to the final, but obviously go there and win. And there's no greater team to win than Arsenal, because they're a super team. So we're looking forward to it. But in the meantime, we've got a challenging, competitive league programme starting today at Bristol. And if we can do well and perform well in the league games, that'll continue into the Continental Cup final.
Thanks, Rick, and good luck for the match today. Well, let's see how Lincoln's Continental Cup final opponents Arsenal got on when they faced Doncaster. The Bells playing their 4th game in 12 days.
Arsenal needed a win to keep pressure on league leaders Liverpool when they faced a Doncaster side coming off the back of their first league victory of the season. Since giving Danielle Carter a more central role, Shelley Kerr has seen plenty of rewards. Ellen White picked out the lively forward, but she was denied by the woodwork. Soon after, a let-off for Arsenal as Emma Byrne misjudged a Millie Bright shot that the Gunners keeper thought was going wide. The champions had thrashed Doncaster 6-0 last month, but it took them 35 minutes to break the deadlock this time. Steph Horton's cross was palmed out by Nicola Davis, Carter pouncing for a 6th goal in 5 games. There was almost an immediate response from Doncaster. Sue Smith's free kick reached Victoria Williams, Byrne well placed to make the save. The visitors did equalise early in the second half. Horton gave the ball away and was punished by Smith's excellent strike, her second in as many matches. The Gunners were soon back in front though. Carter, the destroyer-in-chief, a lovely turn and run ended by Williams's crude challenge. No disputing referee Paul Forrester's decision, the penalty dispatched by Kim Little. Any hope of a Bells comeback was snuffed out on 70 minutes. Jordan Nobbs, so often the midfielder in the right place at the right time, was once again on hand, beating Davis to extend the home side's advantage. Full-time, Arsenal 3, Doncaster 1.
So Arsenal keep the pressure on Liverpool and this Bristol side with that victory over Doncaster. Well, that's it for part 1. Join us after the break to see if the Vixens can take all 3 points off Lincoln.